Kyle here, and we are fully into summer now. The temp has been getting warmer, and hopefully your favorite animes are as well. Also with this episode, we are finally able to take a look at a brand new series, one that has just hit my 3-episode threshold, so that we can take a look at it and grade it fairly. Will we have a new hit, or the return of the anime was a mistake award? There were a number of contenders to open up with, and the runners-up being Apocalypse Bringer Mynoghra, Onmyo Kaiten Rebirth Verse, and Uglymug Epicfighter. Wait, what? I do plan to get to all of these soon, but the one I landed on was The Water Magician. It quickly rose to the top of my list, and why I chose to use it as the lead-in on my new series section on my last video about Rising of the Shield Hero, due to the art direction alone. So how did I do for this pick?
You chose poorly.
Created as a light novel by Tadashi Kubo and illustrated by Hana Amano in 2020, it soon got a manga adaptation in 2021 before coming to screens this season. So you know, the standard light novel to anime pipeline. To begin with, this is a very good looking anime. Don't get me wrong, and the key concept of this, the water, they did a great job animating. Something that is often notoriously hard to do.
Shape of an ice gondola.
Sadly though, this in the first 3 episodes commits the biggest sin I have for any form of entertainment, and that it is boring. I've said it before, I can find enjoyment in bad as long as they are trying. Boring though? So grab a nice glass of ice water as we take a look at The Water Magician by Typhoon Graphics and enter this other world. Off the bat, our hero Ryo is killed, so we are firmly back into standard operating Isekai territory. Also, it seems like the regular culprit has returned. Ryo finds himself in front of the angel, Fake Michael. Don't know why it was important for Ryo to call him that, but he does, so we'll go with it. The angel informs Ryo, who wishes for a slow life, that he is going to be taken to another world, one with magic called Fee. There, Ryo is given 2 months' supplies and a house with a magical barrier so that monsters can't get in. He is also adept at water magic in this world, and starts to train his skills with it. Spoiler from the light novel, as the anime doesn't do a good job of explaining this yet, but he has spent 20 years alone here. He has been in a loop of training his magic skills every day, and swordsmanship against the Fairy King every night. He also has solo Pokemon battles as well, literally. The assassin bird even evolves at some point off screen. Luckily for him, he has a hidden eternal youth ability, and doesn't age during this time, and continues to be about 20 years old in appearance. Now with all this stuff going on, well, it sounds like there's a lot of cool stuff to keep us tuned in. Sadly, with all of this, it isn't presented in any interesting way. This anime feels stuck, and that this wants to be more of a slow life anime. We just follow Ryo, who unfortunately has the personality of Dreyerlink going through his life. There has to be a more impressive way to present this to us. That all changes in the second episode though, as Abel, a Crimson Swordsman, has washed up on the beach and is soon greeted by Ryo, and the two strike up a quick friendship. Ryo showing how OP'd his magic abilities are, and Abel asking for his help to get back to his home. Ryo agrees, and before he leaves, the Fairy King gives Ryo an outfit befitting the new adventurer. Again, design work, animation, everything else about this is great. I love it. The story is just so dull. During the trip, Abel truly gets an understanding of Ryo's skills, as they encounter monsters that haven't been seen in ages, or other ones that typically require 20 people to fight. One being the Wyverns, who Ryo dispatches a large group of single-handedly to Abel's astonishment. Soon, the two reach civilization and make it back to the town of Loon, where Abel sets up Ryo in a guild as a D rank. He also informs them about Ryo's power. But of course, a few people don't believe. You gotta build up that drama, right? They haven't done a good job of it yet. We learn the guildmaster, fearing Ryo's power, is concerned that Ryo may side with the Debuhai Empire, though Ryo has an odd aversion to them based on the name alone. Now, I didn't know what the deal was with the automatic hatred of Debuhai as a word, so I looked this up on the internet. And from what I could find, Ryo's aversion is that debu means fat, and buhai is being an onomatopoeia of pig noises.
Then you leave me no choice.
This is what I found online, so take that with a grain of salt. That was it for the first 3 episodes. And I do really want to like this, but it just didn't work on multiple levels for me. The story didn't do anything to draw me in, and Ryo, who it all hinges on, is not interesting enough to carry the story for so long alone. The reason I have done reviews based on the first 3 episodes is that in that time, a story should give you a reason to want to come back. Either the story has a hook that you want to see resolved, or a character is so interesting that you want to see what happens next. Ryo is very powerful, but he isn't using his water/ice powers in a way we haven't seen other characters in media use them. Take a look at Sypha from Castlevania. She also heavily relies on ice abilities, but she does much more interesting things with them off the bat. If we were continuing to watch him build his skills, I can see being slower, but that isn't what the anime wants us to think. Sadly, we are experiencing this in a world that is jaded by stuff like Castlevania and Avatar: The Last Airbender's depictions of how cool these powers should be. Right now, with the amount of good stuff we are getting from anime this season, it is not great to not get out of the gate strong. The Water Magician can still fix this and find an interesting story. They do have a lot of things they seem to be building to, but it could be too late as the audience may not be sticking around. In 3 episodes, it doesn't yet have any identity aside from being slow in the worst possible ways. The biggest question for me though, does it need to be an isekai? Currently, no, it doesn't. And my reasoning for that is the original Dragon Ball. I see a lot of similarities in Ryo coming across Abel like that of Goku and Bulma's first interaction. Turning Ryo into a magical Goku character removes the need of any isekaiing for the character, as they still would be as lost in the world as Ryo is when they reach Loon. That being said, there are hints that isekaiing is going to come into play, as it seems a previous isekai'd person has a hand in shaping this world. We get a glimpse of that when Ryo is excited to find Japanese-style curry in the world, and can be a bigger element in the story. Though this goes back to me wishing that they would get to the story sooner. It takes Ryo and Abel 2.5 episodes to do what Goku and Bulma did within the first 10 minutes. To fix this anime overall, they need to get to it sooner. You have one chance to make a first impression and don't waste it. Start right with Abel washing ashore. You don't lose too much Ryu backstory that you couldn't just show in flashback along the way. Him getting the outfit by the Fairy King without knowing their history will be something that we want to learn more about. Isekai or not, I think this alone would make for a much more watchable series. All that aside, just based on what we have now for the Water Magician, I have a very hard time suggesting watching this one, and I really want to. A lot of effort has gone into the animation, it's just being held back by boring characters and story. Due to the reasons mentioned, I do have to give this my Miyazaki Anime Was a Mistake award. Also, just want to mention that I felt both Japanese and English voice crews are doing a good job, but they just aren't given anything to work with. I can say this as an expert on this one, as it took me 3 tries to get through the first episode since I kept falling asleep. Seriously though, this anime may be the cure for insomnia. I have positioned myself as an isekai hater here, but the last 2 series I covered, My Life as a Villainess and Rising of the Shield Hero, have shown me that at the end of the day, I'm more looking for a good, well-crafted story. This isekai is missing a lot of my biggest hangups about isekais, but I would still rather watch Shield Hero, which has more of them, since they are trying to tell something interesting. It sucks to have my hopes up and be let down like this, and I do hope that they find an identity soon, but I most likely will not be with them on this trip. Time to close up this episode of Isekai. Hopefully we can find something interesting in the remaining new series for summer. I mean, we have 3 more tries, right? Something is bound to hit. I hope. Until then though, stay safe and be sure to look both ways before crossing the street.